Radharani. Why? Because she, being the immediate consort of Krishna, non-different than Krishna in one sense. Krishna expands in various ways, and his primary expansion is expanding in the form of Radharani to increase the spiritual world. The most important Shakti or energy is Ladini Shakti. It means the pleasure-giving potency. And what is this?
Do you want us to go behind your back?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that would be a good idea. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's kind of a bit better, I think. Pleasure-giving. Every living entity is Anandamaya Vyasat. It means by nature we're all searching for pleasure. In this material world, which is a reflection of the spiritual realm, we are searching for pleasure in the material energy. This material energy is a reflection of the spiritual energy. The spiritual energy, the Chit Shakti, this word is Achit or Asat, temporary, full of ignorance. Spiritual world is fully cognizant, full of life, eternal. And especially Ananda. The material world is near Ananda. It means there's no real bliss. Real bliss is eternal. Real bliss is the full blossomed consciousness of the living entity when we're in connection with the Supreme Person. Just like you could say a spark coming out of the fire, it no longer shows its full potential of illuminating and, of course, blazing within the fire. It's also like fire. So a living entity in this material world, or this universe which we're in, material universe, is Bahiranga, called Bahiranga Shakti, the external energy, is very dull. We may be relatively bright compared to others or not, but actually the soul is barely manifesting its actual spiritual quality. Only a little bit through the perversion of the material energy manifested in the form of various bodies which are controlled by the modes of nature. So that pure spirit soul is like covered. When you have a jewel or a light covered by many layers, it's barely visible. So the process of Krishna consciousness is to remove those layers, to cleanse the heart of all that dust or dirt which is covering our consciousness, and thus hiding, and more or less you could say hiding the actual nature of the self. And without that understanding, we tend to identify ourselves with the body or the mind. But these are not. This is dreamlike identity. Just like in a dream, we dream of something which is not real exactly. It's reflection of reality. Similarly, we're dreaming in this world without really understanding who the dreamer is, who the seer is, who the conscious being is. In the spiritual realm, everything is fully conscious. There is no covering. The pure soul has a pure relationship with Krishna. So Krishna expands. Why is all this existing? It's an expansion of Krishna's desire for enjoyment. So his Ladini Shakti, his potency for pleasure, expands in various ways. And the primary form, both you could say personification of Ladini Shakti, but also not different than that Shakti, is Radharani herself. She is the personification of bringing pleasure to Krishna. There's no real difference between Krishna is known as Shaktiman, everything else is known as Shakti. Shakti means energies of various kinds. So in the material world, that same Ladini Shakti manifests as Durga Shakti. The material energy, Maya Shakti, which covers the living entity. And basically we're all under her influence in this material world, under Durga Devi's influence. It's a different topic. We'll go back to the spiritual realm, and they're under the influence of the various Shaktis. We're also a Shakti. We're known as Tatastha Shakti, which means separated parts and parcels of the Lord. We have minute, separate independence to choose. So the whole idea, the whole purpose of everything in one sense, yoga, religion, spiritual life, Krishna consciousness in particular, is to reconnect. To reconnect ourselves. We become a little disconnected like a spark out of fire. Srimati Radharani is the personification of, you could say, pure devotional service. More than anyone else, she is imbued with this. And she's also the personification or the emblem of compassion. Krishna's compassionate nature, his enjoying nature is natural. We have a minute portion of that. Radharani, she is simply thinking of Krishna's pleasure. Real love, she manifests the essence of love. Real love means we're not interested in our own, what we get out of it, or our own feelings even. What we're interested in is the pleasure of the beloved. That's real love. There is no self-interest other than that. To see that the beloved is happier and happier and happier. Even if I suffer and suffer, as long as my beloved is happy, that's all that counts. In the material world, it's only very limited and shallow. By time, by the changing factors of this world, by our own self-interest and so on. And the other part is self-interest. In the spiritual world, Krishna is only thinking of the pleasure of his devotees, particularly Radharani. And Radharani is only thinking of Krishna's pleasure. They live for each other. She is non-different than Krishna. It's like God in a male form and a female form. It's a unique feature of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, or those who are worshippers of the personal aspect of God. They generally understand the Supreme Lord along with his expansions, particularly his internal potency manifested in the form of one of his female Shaktis. It may be Radha and Krishna, Sita and Ram, Lakshmi and Narayan. For those who are worshippers of the Shiva Tattva, then of course it's Parvati, Shiva. Like this, there are so many different expansions like this. But as Krishna expands, his internal potency personified also expands to accompany him, to bring him pleasure. Everything is meant for the pleasure of Krishna. That's the whole purpose of existence. We may think why, but that's why. Because Krishna is the Rama, he's the reservoir of pleasure. He expands, we're also his expansion. And just like we may expand sometimes a little bit with children or with property and different things, for our pleasure, for our expansion of our pleasure, fulfilling our desires. This has its origins in Krishna. We cannot measure it materially because this is an eternal factor. Material world is temporary. So Krishna's pleasure expansion is Radharani. She's the personification of compassion. She always wants to reconnect all others and everything with Krishna to bring more pleasure to Krishna and, by the way, consequently, more pleasure to the individuals also. When we're separated from Krishna, our pleasure is chopala, very limited, very flickering, not very satisfying. This world is dukkhalayam shashvatam. It's a place of dukkha, dukkha alayam, a place of dukkha. Place of suffering and shashvatam, temporary. The nature of this world, we don't really belong here. It's incompatible to the eternal soul, but we try to make it compatible. And for a short while we can exist in a particular body, then we have to move on. Start again. Karma. The spiritual world is eternal, and Radharani wants us all back there. This is her deep compassion. Her compassion is for Krishna. She wants to see Krishna's pleasure increase. So we're going to hear something a little bit from Srila Prabhupada, a little bit about Radharani, There's no end of her glories, her qualities, unlimited qualities, just like Krishna. Some of them are listed. 25 specific qualities are listed. We won't probably go through those, they're details. She has unlimited capacities and so on. Perhaps her most prominent capacity, or the most one which is most common to hear, I suppose. Krishna is known as Madan Mohan. Madan Mohan means one who is he captivates even Cupid. Even Cupid is captivated by Krishna. Even Madan is captivated by Krishna. He's the attractor of everyone. As everyone's attracted by Cupid. Cupid is attracted by Krishna, so he's Madan Mohan, name of Krishna. But Radharani is the attractor of Cupid. She's known as Madan Mohan Mohini. She attracts God. So we hear about that now from Srila Prabhupada a little bit. She is the most, the real controller. We talk of God, but God is controlled by Radharani. Krishna is controlled by Radharani. This is unknown to most people, at least in this world. Even in India, most people are not familiar with her position. Krishna cannot really exist without Radharani. There's no meaning to Krishna. Krishna means all attractive. How can you be a king without a kingdom? How can you be a king without citizens? It means meaningless. A king always has a wife, female counterpart. This comes from the Supreme Person. He has many other expansions, by the way, too, but this is the one we're hearing about today. We also heard another of his expansions is Vamadev, but that's an expansion of himself in the male, you could say the Purush feature. Radharani is the personification of the pure Prakriti, or the pure energy of the Supreme Lord, the female aspect, let's say. And we're all supposed to be in that sort of mood. It may be in a different role, but that same mood of bringing pleasure to Krishna. Krishna is Purush, we're all Prakriti. We are all the energy of the Lord, which in terms of gender is considered female. There's no absolute difference in one sense, although they have different roles. One is the object, and the other is you could say, the one who gives pleasure to the object. One is Ashraya, one's Ashrita, or Vishaya. So we are meant to give pleasure to Krishna. Radharani is we worship Srimati Radharani. We may also be in a position to assist her in bringing pleasure to Krishna. Assist her followers in bringing pleasure to Krishna. So we're going to sing a song, Hare Krishna, on this wonderful day of well, it's not Radhastami today, but you're remembering Radhastami. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold, and who is the queen of Vrindavan. You are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu. Vrishabhanu. Where's our dear Vrishabhanu? Is he in Belfast? He's in Belfast. Pardon?
Will be shortly.
He'll be here shortly. He's coming?
Not today.
Not today. He's away right now. We have our dear devotee Vrishabhanu Prabhu living here in Belfast. And you are very dear. You know who King Vrishabhanu is? Who knows who King Vrishabhanu is? It pretty much tells you here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Who is he? Yeah, you got it. That was clever. If Radharani is the daughter, I guess Vrishabhanu is the father. Pretty good there. Well done. Very, very clever. And who's the mother? Kirtida. Kirtida Vrishabhanu. Unique about Radharani's appearance. She appeared in this world Okay, well, I guess we're going to sing the song first, and then we'll talk about her appearance. That's what it looks like anyway. So, she is the most dear to Krishna. We can't become Radharani, but we can assist her, following her mood. So this song is called Radhastami. It's a song by Rupa Goswami. Now, Rupa Goswami is, if you don't know, he was one of the associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one of his main disciples and followers. And he was appointed by Lord Chaitanya to write literatures about pure devotional service, particularly about devotion to Radha and Krishna. And he compiled this song, Radhastami, this prayers or this glorification of Radharani. A very short song, very beautiful song. And Prabhupada introduced this song into this ISKCON movement in, I think it was 1968, in Montreal, early days of ISKCON. And he said, especially on this day, we could sing this song. So let's see what Prabhupada says. And I don't know if you can see a thing much on the board, but it's quite small. Or on the screen, maybe you can see. This song was sung by Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami is one of the personal assistants. Now, in the spiritual realm, how can we describe this in the material world? You may not be able to. But you have all kinds of different arrangements to try to facilitate whatever kind of objective we have in mind. You decorate your room, you put various items in there, maybe paintings and so on, or maybe painting the walls. You try to make everything according to your mood, according to what you feel comfortable with. Same thing with food, association, music, various things. We try our best to arrange life to be most satisfying to ourselves, as much as one can, limited as it may be. But we try. So the spiritual world is like that. It's a manifestation of loving desire. Everything. So Radharani, she expands in so many different ways to assist her service to Krishna or to enhance Krishna's pleasure. And so amongst her expansions are called the gopis. There are unlimited gopis. They all have different natures and they all add different flavor to the relationship. They're all different aspects in one sense of Radharani's personality, but they're also personified in of themselves to enhance that relationship. It's a little boring when there's only one person. So the expansions are there to create all kinds of emotional ecstasies. And amongst those there are other expansions. They're called manjaris. The manjaris are very special. They're the most intimate in many ways because they have, amongst all of the various expansions, they're the ones who have the privilege or the unique feature that they can actually be present when Radha and Krishna are personally together. This is not going on as it goes on in the material world in a limited, measurable way. These are eternal, you could say, aspects of relationship going on here. So Rupa Goswami is one of those manjaras, and he is in Radharani especially. He's assisting one of Radharani's chief assistants, in fact her chief assistant, who is known as Lalita Devi. So Rupa Goswami is the direct assistant to Lalita Devi as a manjari in enhancing the pleasure between Radha and Krishna. It's all rather esoteric, but anyway, this is the situation. So there is no one more than Rupa Goswami practically who can reveal the confidentiality of pure devotional service in the highest form. The highest form of loving devotion is known as Madhurya Ras. There are many. Rasa means relationship, mellow relationship. Taste, it means taste also. The highest taste in relationship that exists is Madhurya Ras. There are many levels of Madhurya Ras, but in general that's the category of the highest form of loving reciprocation. So Rupa Manjari particularly is assisting in enhancing that love in Madhurya Ras. So he alone, and others too of course, is privy to this most intimate loving relationship. Everybody's main constitutional nature is love. To love, to be loved. The living entity is hankering after love and needs to also, obviously, if we're hankering for love, somebody's got to love. It's a two-way thing. So he's a persona, he's the most, you could say, intimate in that sense, practically speaking. So he's, particularly in this world, when he appears in this world to assist the Lord in reconnecting living entities with Krishna, through the process of devotional service. He explains the path of devotional service from A to Z. We have to start at A, I'm afraid. You cannot start at Z. You go asleep. We're not qualified. We have to go through the ropes, step by step by step. So he's explained all of this in his writings, how we can progress towards the highest form of love of God. That is available for all living entities by the grace of the Lord. Unknown to most, of course, but they've made it available. So Rupa Goswami is you could say the ambassador of this conjugal ras. And all other rases too, by the way, but particularly this one. They're all contained within this highest form of love. So Radharani is a personification of that Madhura ras. So he's especially explaining the path towards Radha Seva, or service to Radharani, which is our line. And where are we going? To this song, so he's compiled this song, particularly in relationship to Radharani and her immediate assistants. He is the real person, Prabhupada says. That means that Rupa is the real person to explain or understand Radha and Krishna. So he says, all glories to Radharani. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhavadayate. She is so dear to Krishna. And as mothers and fathers, you know how dear your children are to you. In some cases, they're all that matters. You're willing to give up your life for them. Anything for your children. It's the closest thing in this world to pure love. Is the relation, particularly of the mother and child. Particularly father and child, but mother and child even more intense. It's not spiritual, exactly. It's not eternal. It's not absolutely pure, but it's closest you can get. Everyone is trying, where's where we've got to? She is so dear to Krishna. Krishna, everyone is trying to love Krishna. We may say, I'm not trying to love Krishna, but we're trying to love Krishna's energy, which is also an expansion of Krishna. That energy may be Tadasa Shakti, it may be Bahiranga Shakti, it may be whatever Shakti it may be, Maya Shakti. But we're trying to gain love or enjoy the energy of God. So indirectly we're trying to enjoy God. We want to enjoy his energies without him, basically. Krishna consciousness means you will enjoy, you'll be unlimitedly happy, but you don't think about that. You only think about Krishna's pleasure. She's so dear. Everyone's trying to love Krishna, but Krishna is trying to love somebody. Now, how great she is. In other words, he's trying to love Radha. How great she is. Just try to understand. Everyone, the whole world, the whole universe, all living entities, they're trying to love Krishna, Krishna Prema. We're looking for Krishna Prema. The kingdom of God without God, it doesn't mean much. It's like a Ravana mentality, wanting to enjoy Sita without Ram. The nature of Ranikashipu was the same. He also wanted to enjoy, like that. Wanted to enjoy the kingdom of God without God. Everyone's like that. Lord Chaitanya describes Prema Pumarto Mahan, and Rupa Goswami describes that you are distributing Rupa Goswami, that's his form in this world, of Sadhaka Rupa. He appears in this world to show the path of devotion. He describes he's praying to Lord Chaitanya, who is Radha and Krishna themselves, in the form of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya. And he's saying, you are distributing Krishna Prema. Krishna Prema is so valuable, but Krishna is after Radharani. Just see how Radharani is great. Just try to understand the greatness of Radharani. She's the greatest. Sometimes people claim to be the greatest in this world, but we see their claims do not last very long. Radharani is eternally the greatest because she controls the greatest in the form of Krishna. Therefore she's so great. We have to offer our respect. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhavadayate. How she is. Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite. Taruni. Taruni means young girls. Maybe some young girls, you're Taruni. You'll see the pictures. They are all young girls. They're like Manjaras, these two. Manjaras are very young. The gopis are usually young, teenage age. They look like that. But the Manjaras are young, very young. They haven't reached that age. They're innocent, you can say. How is she? You'll see the pictures. They are all young girls. But of all the young girls, she's the most beautiful. I mean, it's Radharani. You can't imagine. We don't even want to go there. We start thinking mundane material. She's enchanting to the young girls also. She's all attractive. She's so beautiful. Gokula Tarini Mandala Mahite. Damadara Vati Vardhanaveshi. And she always dresses her so nicely. She dresses her so nicely that Damodar Krishna becomes attracted by her beauty. She dresses very beautifully. Why did she dress so beautifully? Usually we see her, perhaps not always, but she has a golden complexion, right? Golden complexion. Molten gold, we just heard. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi. She's a golden complexion. Krishna loves the golden complexion. So she's in a golden complexion. Krishna is blue, so she's normally dressed in blue cloth. Krishna's blue. It's reminding her of Krishna, attracting Krishna's attention, making him happy. Always thinking of how to please Krishna. And Krishna's always thinking of how to please Radha. So he's a bluish complexion, but he wears golden clothes, golden dhoti. Like this, they reciprocate with each other. Lord Chaitanya appears, he's Krishna inside, but he has the complexion of Radharani and the mood of Radharani. That's another subject. She always dresses nicely. Krishna becomes attracted. Hari Nishkuta Vrindavineshe, and she is the only lovable object of Krishna. And she is the queen of Vrindavan. The way devotees, this Gaudiya devotees in this line, we're not thinking of directly serving Krishna exactly. Because we know that Radharani gives the most pleasure to Krishna. So we try to assist Radharani so that she can give even more pleasure to Krishna. No. Okay, Radharani, I'm here now. Please take me to Krishna so I can enjoy. Not like that. We take a humble position. Gopi Bhartu Padakamanam Dasa Dasa Dasami Das. Servant of the servant of the gopis, who of course are all expansions of Radharani, to assist in the loving relationship. This Queen of Vrindavan, you'll find in Vrindavan, if you go to Vrindavan, I suppose most of you have been to Vrindavan. Who's been to Vrindavan in India? Most of you. And many of the others may have heard, of course. When you go there, you'll see most people there saying, Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe. All over you see written Jai Radhe is also written there everywhere. Jai Radhe, they greet people, Jai Radhe, Radhe Radhe, everywhere. Radharani. All the devotees in Vrindavan, they're a worshipper of Radharani. Generally speaking, we don't do like that. Prabhupada didn't. Because Prabhupada said, it's not our business to comment on those great souls in Vrindavan. They may be in a different mood or a particular mood. They understand that everything's by the mercy of Radharani, but in our particular line of succession, we chant Krishna's names because we're directly trying to assist the assistance of the assistance of the assistance of Radharani. And Radharani loves to hear Krishna's name. She's not interested in hearing her name. As we would not be interested in hearing our name unless we have a little bit of false ego. Probably we do. But we like to hear the glorification of our Lord. So we do chant Radharani's name. When you chant the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. We're actually approaching Radharani. She appears in an approachable form because the name Radha, Radharani herself, is the most confidential, most prized, you could say, of all of Krishna's energy or expansion. She is the most prized. You don't advertise necessarily, you certainly don't show off in public to persons who are not very good character your most valuable asset. So Radharani is very confidential, not revealed to most. You get the wrong impression. They start thinking about a material relationship. So in the form of the Maha Mantra, Radharani has appeared 8 times. Hare is Radha. She's a form of, I'd say, I don't know what the technical term is, but in the mantra form, she appears in this way. We approach Krishna. You approach, even in ordinary dealings, you don't necessarily go straight to an important person. You go through the secretary or somebody who knows him well. Radharani knows Krishna more than anyone. So we go through the internal energy Radharani personified as she's the personification of that internal energy, and we approach the Supreme Person through his energies. Hare Krishna. It's the way we approach. So chanting Hare Krishna will automatically worshipping Radharani. We don't have to make a separate endeavor. And in that way, it's not offensive. Of course, we may be offensive no matter what we do, but we're not directly committing an offense to Radharani. Like we're approaching her, begging her, please engage me in your service, and in the service of, ultimately, of course, of Krishna, but through the divine energy. And she appeared as the daughter of King Vrishabhanu. And her companion, Lalita Shakya and Vishaka Devi, and the devotees. So on behalf of the pure devotees of Krishna, Rupa Goswami is praying, Karunam Kurumai Karuna Bharite. O my worshipable Radharani, you are full of mercy. So I am begging of your mercy because you are so merciful. She is a personification of mercy. And we should pray, humbly pray, fall on the floor, and pray for her mercy that we can wake up and realize our constitution to bring pleasure to Krishna. So I am begging of your mercy, O my most worshipable Radharani. You are so merciful. Very easily you bestow your mercy. I am begging your mercy. Karunam Kurumai Karuna Bharite Sanaka Sanatan Vanita Chariti. Now somebody may say, oh, you are so great, learned scholar. You are so great, saintly person. You are begging mercy for an ordinary girl. And some may say that in this material world. You are learned. Why are you begging from an ordinary girl? How is that? Therefore, Rupa Goswami says, oh, this is not ordinary girl. Sanak Sanatan Varnita Charite. This girl's description is possible to be made by great saintly persons like Sanak Sanatan. She is not ordinary. Sanak Sanatan are the original. They're the sons, the mental sons of Lord Brahma. Right at the beginning of creation, they were manifested from his mind and personification of knowledge, practically speaking. Most learned, they stayed as young brahmacharis to avoid entanglement. But they're the personification, why, of wisdom, knowledge. And they're saying like this. They're describing this. She is not ordinary. So the lesson is that we should not treat Radharani as ordinary girl. That's the danger. Or Krishna as ordinary man. Abhajananti mamana manusham dharmashtam. Krishna says to Arjuna, fools deride me when I descend in this human form. They do not know my supreme dominion over all that be, the supreme position of the Supreme Lord. They are the supreme absolute truth. But in the absolute truth there is the pleasure potency, and that is exhibited in the dealings of Radha and Krishna. And Radha's expansion, all the gopis, and Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Now just briefly summarizing this relationship, nature of Radharani here in this little lecture back in 1968. Thank you very much. Chant Hare Krishna. So we'll sing this song. Okay. do that. Harmony.
Yes, Maharaj. You can increase your harmony by turning it up.
Turn it off.
Turn it off.
That will improve things if you turn it off. You won't have to hear a hypocrite speaking any longer. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate.
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate.
Can you see it on the board? Readable? Kukula Tarani Mandala Mohite.
Kukula Tarani Mandala Mohite.
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate.
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate.
Damadara Rati Varanaveshe Hari Nishkuta Vrindavipineshe.
Damodarati Varanaveshe Hari Nishkuta Vrindavipineshe.
Damodarati Varanaveshe Hari Nishkuta Vrindavipineshe.
Damodarati Varanaveshe Hari Nishkuta Vrindavipineshe.
The first line is the chorus. Huh? Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate.
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate.
Kukula Tarani Mandala Mohite.
Kukula Tarani Mandala Mohite.
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate.
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate.
Vishabhanudari Navasashileke Lalita Sakti Guna Ramita Vishake.
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 Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate.
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate.
Kukula Tarani Mandala Mohite.
Kukula Tarani Mandala Mohite.
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate.
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate.
Karuna Kurumai Kuruna Varite Sanaka Sanatana Vanita Charite.
Karunam Kurumai Karunavadite Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite.
Karunam Kurumai Kuruna Varite Sanaka Sanatana Vanita Charite.
Karunam Kurumai Karunavadite Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite.
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate.
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 Kukula Tarani Mandala Mohite.
Kukula Tarani
Tarani Mandala Mohite. Oh Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jayate. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jayate. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Radha Madhava Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava Shri Radhe. Lord Premanandi Shri Radhastami Mahamahotsav Ki. Shri Radha Madhava Ki. Prabhupada Ki. Who is the where did the beautiful deities of Radha Krishna on the altar? They're staying here, or they're some of these deities?
No, this is just
Pardon?
for
Huh?
in the altar now.
Yeah.
This is just for festival.
Are they your deities?
No, for temple deities, but we just
Temple deities, just for the festival.
Yeah, just for festival.
Beautiful. Utsav deities, huh? Utsav.
also.
The Utsav. Maha Utsava. Beautiful deities of Radha Madhava, so merciful. Thank you. Panchatattva was mercy. So today, being the appearance day, well, there, Srimati Radharani's glorious birth occurred on the 8th day of the bright moon in the month of Bhadra. That's today, a real auspicious day. It's known as Vijay Dashami, victory, victorious. Oh no, we're talking about Vamandev. I'm jumping back and forth here. She appeared on the 8th day of the bright moon. Today's what, the 11th day? 12th day, Dwadashi. She appeared on the 8th day of this month. Although generally not full on that day, the moon appeared full to celebrate Radharani's appearance in this world. The moon was so ecstatic that the moon suddenly appeared as a full moon instead of a smaller one. Radha's age is in the middle of the Kaishore period, just as previously. Krishna's age was increased by half again, so Radha's age is increased to 14 years, 2 months and 15 days. That's how she appears. Of course, she's eternal. I don't know, like she lasts 14 years, then she becomes 15. She's eternally at that age. But here we see a little deity of Radharani as a child. I don't know where this deity is worshipped, but somewhere, maybe somewhere in Braj probably. Maybe in Gokul or somewhere. She's worshipped, or maybe Varshana. So where did Radharani appear? Where? Varshana. Most people will say Varshana. Any other suggestions? Raval. You can say both because she's eternally present. She's eternally present everywhere, wherever Krishna is anyway. That's what can you say? It's a picture, a photograph of the temple there in Raval, which marks the place now. What we can see is what we can see. Is nothing compared to what it is. But whatever we can see is the location of the appearance of Radharani on this Bhoma Vrindavan, on this plain, the plain that we can experience, tip of an iceberg. So she appeared there in Raval, which is very close. It's in Gokul. It's a section of Greater Vrindavan of Braj, which is known as Mahavan. And there is Gokul, the place where Krishna appeared nearby. So she appeared there, as we already heard, as the daughter of King Vrishabhanu and Kirtida. Of course, there are many stories, and as there always are, maybe at different millenniums, different places, of how Radharani, of pastimes, of how she appears to in this world, how she became the daughter of Vrishabhanu. Vrishabhanu and Kirtida were quite senior in age, as were Nanda and Yasoda, when they also received Krishna as their child. It's a mystical appearance of Krishna. And similarly, the appearance of Radharani is mystical in a different way. Actually, she did appear in the womb of Kirtida, but then it appeared she wasn't there anymore. And she appeared in the womb of the wife of Mount Vindhya, of all things, mountain range, personified King Vindhya as his wife. They were hankering after a beautiful daughter because Mount Himalayas had already given birth to Sati, the wife of Lord Shiva, the consort of Lord Shiva. Please put your mobiles on silent mode or something like that. So she appeared there, which was very strange. She was transferred by Yogamaya into the womb of the wife of King Vindhya. So from there, when she was born of the wife of King Vindhya, 2 daughters were born. And just at the same, a little bit after, of course, a significant time after, sometime after, the appearance of Krishna, then at that time still Putana was going around on the order of King Kamsa to kidnap all the baby girls. She was to kill all the boys and kidnap the girls. So she was still going out doing that business. She came to the Vindhya mountain range and she saw these 2 beautiful young girls, babies. So she kidnapped these 2 babies. And as she was flying through, she's a witch, so she was flying through the air with these babies. She had many babies in her lap, carrying away baby girls. Many of the gopis, they came in this way through Putana. She had a very interesting role to play in Krishna Lila. As she was flying away, then the king, King Vindhya mountain, he discovered what had happened and immediately called his brahmanas, and they did a witch-killing yajna to kill this demoniac Putana. So they weren't actually very powerful. They weren't able to kill her, but they were able to stun her. And she shuddered, and one of the children fell out of her lap and landed in a place called Kundina, which is near Nagpur. And that was Rukmini. She became known as Rukmini. And then Putana went on and she dropped the other children in various places in the Jamuna and here and there in Braj. And they were born, different gopis were dropped by Putana, and particularly Radharani, who was in her lap, dropped. And when Vrishabhanu came one day into the fields, he was also Vaishya, went into the fields, he saw this golden effulgence and this beautiful golden lotus flower, many petal lotus flower in the water there of the Jamuna. Couldn't believe his eyesight. It was so effulgent. He went closer and he found this absolutely golden, beautiful girl inside the lotus, basically, in the petals of the lotus. He couldn't believe his eyesight. It was like absolutely stunning. He picked up this baby in his arms and just heart was captivated. It was actually his daughter. And then he accepted this as his daughter. He took Radharani back. Radharani, the very word Radha, means the greatest Aradhana, the greatest worshipper of the Lord. One who brings most pleasure to Krishna, Radharani, the queen of bringing pleasure to Krishna. So he took her back to Kirtida's wife, and my dear Devi, see what I brought for you, the most beautiful daughter. So they were just absolutely captivated. You know these stories a little bit, I'm sure. There are other stories too, of course, of how Radharani was cursed by Sri Ram to take birth as an ordinary woman in a coward girl family on this planet, and this and that. Different things are there. But this is one story. And but it looked like the little girl was blind and dumb. There was no sound coming, never opened her eyes. They were so gorgeous, beautiful, they didn't know what to do, So they were absolutely captivated, but so worried that their daughter was blind and dumb. What are we going to do? And anyway, one day, after a few days, Narada Muni appeared on the scene and said, he was asking if they had any children. They had another children at that time, of course, Sri Ram, another child. So yes, but then he said, no one else? Oh, we have a girl, can I see her? So he saw the girl, Narada Muni saw the girl, and immediately offered his obeisance. This girl is the most divine of all. We were so blessed to have such a daughter as this. Now you must perform the birth ceremony, the special ceremony, where everyone honors the birth of the appearance of the child. So call all of the residents of Gokul, everyone, especially Nandan, Yasoda, and all your relatives, everyone should come to honor the appearance of these children. So they did, they held a festival. We said, everything will be fine, don't worry. They held this festival. And sure enough, Nanda and Yasoda came, they were living nearby. And of course, baby Krishna was also there, he just started to crawl. So he was crawling, Krishna was crawling on the ground, and he crawled up somehow or another to that cot. Radharani was lying in the cot, in a baby cot. He crawled up there, he could smell something. Krishna could smell an incredibly, absolutely incomparable fragrance, a beautiful fragrance. He crawled up to the cot, being attracted by that fragrance. He pulled himself up on the side of the cot and looked inside, and there he saw the most gorgeous Radharani, his eternal consort. As soon as Radharani smelt the fragrance of Krishna, she opened her eyes and she started to cry. Everyone came and realized, this is it. Krishna, she wouldn't see any person before she saw Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness. Always Krishna first. So that was a little bit, you probably know a lot more about the appearance of Radharani. And that's the area outside the compound in Ravel. And this is a little painting done by one disciple. Krishna looking in the cot. And there is Varshana. And most of you are probably familiar with Varshana, an amazing dham within Braj. Brishabhanu, King Brishabhanu's palace. Even today it's an amazing place. We can go there on Radhastami. You can't imagine what's going on there. A few days ago, even today they may be celebrating, I don't know. Or during Holi festival. It's an incredible place, worshipping Radharani. And so many pastimes take place in that area. Mostly residents of Gokul, they moved to Vrindavan, and then they also moved here to Nandagram and Varshan. and many other places were pastime places. So our request, Prabhupada said, and I guess we have to finish with this, it's already 5 o'clock here. Our request is everyone who is present here today, this is Radhastami, so pray to Radharani. She is Hare, Hara. This Hare, this word is Radharani, Hara. Radha or Hara is the same thing, so Hare Krishna. So we are praying to Radharani. My mother Radharani and Krishna, Hare Krishna, O Krishna, O Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Same thing, repetition. O Radharani, O Krishna, O Radha Krishna, Radhe Krishna, or Hare Krishna, same thing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Again addressing, O Krishna, O Radharani, Hare Rama, the same thing again. Hare Rama, Rama is also Krishna. Sometimes we hear Rama means Balarama. Sometimes we hear Ramachandra. Sometimes even Parashuram. Not so often Parashuram, but sometimes. Either one, they're all not, none of them are wrong. But for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, who are, at least those who are, let's say, in the line of Rupa Goswami, who are following this path of Rupa, where Rupa Nugas, Rama means Radharaman. Radharaman, the most beloved or pleasure, Radharani. Ram. Ram is Balaram, they are all Krishna. Ram is Ram. Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. So this repetition of addressing Radha and Krishna, or Hare Krishna, is to pray, my dear Lord, and the energy, the spiritual energy of the Lord, kindly engage me in your service. That's all. I am now embarrassed with this material service. Please engage me in your service. Jai Shri Prabhupada. So many more things, but time is already 5+. And you have Arti now?
Yes.
Arti. And then Prasadam? Yes. Is that right?
Yes.
Amayatma? You're not in charge, are you? Radharani is in charge. Ask Radharani. And who's representing Radharani here? Which ladies? And who's in charge here? Are you organizing the program?
Me?
You.
Is organizing festivals.
So it's 5:02, 5:03, 5:04. Is it time? Your clock is a little fast, I think. Unless my clock is slow. Is it a little fast? Yeah? Okay, so there's so much you could read and say and hear and see. But let us pray to Srimati Radharani today that we can become assistants to bring pleasure to Krishna, to give up our trying to enjoy Krishna separately, to enjoy Krishna's energy separately. Krishna is the enjoyer. We are meant to be enjoyed by Krishna. So let us, and then you can really be happy. That's the unique thing about bhakti. Unique. By giving up this desire to enjoy separately, one can actually fulfill one's desire to be happy. One can fulfill all one's loving desire, loving intentions, and everything else. Complete satisfaction. No satisfaction in this world. And we're all trying to assist in this way, trying to pray for Radharani's mercy that we can come to this platform. Hare Krishna. Some nice pictures, maybe of Radharani, I don't know. Radha and Krishna. So if you want to go for Arti, please do so. You see, Arti is in the temple room, is that right?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know if everyone can get in there. Huh? Maybe you can squeeze in, maybe. Intimate association. We had some technical problems yesterday. We had to switch the PowerPoint off of PowerPoint and put it onto, what was it called? Something else. The Apple Mac equivalent. So when the PowerPoint stopped functioning. Hare Krishna, all of her qualities, unlimited qualities, and loving, unlimitedly fascinating relationship with Radha and Krishna. Okay, Hare Krishna, Srimati Radharani ki jai, Shri Radhastami Maha Mahotsava ki jai, Gaur Premanandi, Hare Krishna.
Holiness Janananda Goswami Maharaj ki
Jai!
You see here, usually 25 are mentioned. 25. Chief, only the chief ones. She has many talents also. You know, she's very talented in all kinds of arts and sciences. I remember saying this one time, and they went, what are you talking about? Oh, nonsense. They obviously hadn't read it, it's there in the Nectar of Devotion. She's very expert in all kinds of arts and crafts, including things like architecture, engineering. If you're an engineer, by the way, she's the expert. She's expert at engineering even. Can you imagine? Maybe not the type of engineering we do, but making all kinds of wonderful, creations for the pleasure pastimes and so on. Her expansions, Yoga Maya and so on also. Tulsi, Maharani, all making arrangements for perfect arrangement for the pastimes. 25 chief transcendents. She is very sweet. She is always freshly youthful. Her eyes are restless. She smiles brightly. She has beautiful, auspicious lines. She makes Krishna happy with her bodily aroma. She is very expert in singing. Her speech is charming. She is very expert in joking and speaking pleasantly. She is very humble and meek. She is always full of mercy. She is cunning. She is expert in executing her duties. She is shy. She is always respectful. She is always calm. She is always grave. She is expert in enjoying life. She is situated at the topmost level of ecstatic love. See, Radharani's enjoyment brings pleasure to Krishna. It's a unique thing. Because it's all in relation with Krishna. So Krishna gets great pleasure. When she sees Krishna happy, she becomes happier. When Krishna sees her happier, he becomes happier. The nature of the spiritual world is ever increasing like this. It's inconceivable to material perception. She is situated at the topmost level of ecstatic love. She is a reservoir of loving affairs in Gokul. You ever notice that too in relationships? When somebody's morose, you don't feel very happy, do you? You kind of like, you feel uncomfortable also. When you see them very happy, if there's someone you like, that is, you feel very happy. She is the most famous and submissive devotees. She is very affectionate to elderly people. Interesting. She is very submissive to the love of her friends. She is the chief gopi. She always keeps Krishna under her control. In short, she possesses unlimited transcendental qualities, just as Lord Krishna does. Now we lost some of the slides because of the change over to this, I can't remember what it's called, this Apple Mac equivalent. Hare Krishna. Srimati Radharani ki jai. Okay, off for Aarti we do go.